The movie begins by introducing us to a couple, Nick and Maggie. They deeply love each other and have a happy family. However, one day, Maggie experiences severe chest pain. When she is taken to the hospital, it is discovered that Maggie has a life-threatening illness. Her only chance of survival is a complicated surgery, which requires skilled specialist doctors. Nick was worried about his wife. Now his wife was admitted to the hospital, so he has to take care of his daughter. It was difficult to manage everything along with his job. One day, Nick takes his kids to a robotics company, where his colleagues tell him that their robots not only look like humans, but also possess emotions, allowing them to better understand and interact with people. Listening to him, Nick notices that his daughter is missing. Being worried, he starts looking for his daughter in this exhibition. He doesn't find his daughter, but then a robot named Alice finds his daughter and brings her to him. He becomes relaxed. Then that employee finding his daughter with him tells him that Alice is a good robot. She knows well how to take care of the kids, and he had seen this. Even Isla likes Alice a lot. She asks her dad to buy this robot. Nick didn't know much about it, but at Isla's insistence, he decides to buy her and bring her home. Reaching home, Nick tells Alice about all the house chores and then go to shopping with his kids. In the evening, when they return home, Nick was surprised to see that Alice not only cleaned the house, but all the things were managed. Along with it, Alice also cooked for them. But Isla doesn't like the food Alice cooked. Because she liked the food cooked by her mom, it is shown in the night that when Alice put herself on charge, Isla goes to the kitchen and tries to pick up the cookie box through a chair. While reaching for the cookies, her foot slips, and she lets out a scream. Hearing her, Nick rushes out immediately. He sees that Alice has caught her just in time, preventing her from falling. Isla was saved now. That's why Nick likes Alice more, because she was taking care of his kids more than him. The next day, Nick goes to meet Maggie along with kids, where Isla says, "Mom, I am happy with Alice. She has become a good friend of mine. She takes care of me." Hearing this, Maggie also becomes happy about this robot. The kids and Alice return home while Nick goes to his job. Here, he receives bad news. His company is laying off all the architects because their work will now be handled by robots. Hearing this, he becomes furious and goes to his boss to find the truth. And his boss says, "You heard it right. I already fired most of your companions, but I will not fire you for now." Nick feels relieved to hear this, but he knows it's only a matter of time before they replace him too. He was tensed even when he came home, and Alice noticed this. Alice asked him the reason, and Nick tells her that people are losing their jobs because of AI. If people will not earn, then how will they survive? Alice replies, "The time is coming when all the tasks will be done by us because we can done it better than humans." Alice's words made Nick anxious. Nick gets a call from the hospital that it is Maggie's operation tomorrow morning. That's why he reaches Maggie as the morning appears. Alice was also with them. Maggie here loves her kids, and then asks to meet Alice alone. Nick then leaves the room along with the kids, and Maggie shares her fear with Alice. She says, "I think something will happen to me during operation, and if this happens, you will have to take care of my kids." Nick gets scared of doctor's detail, and finds it that the team who was supposed to come for Maggie is not coming due to some reason. Hearing this, Nick becomes furious. There was nothing in his hands, and he can't do anything, so he comes home. His anger escalates at night. He is already stressed about his job, and now Maggie is not with him either. Seeing him frustrated, Alice comes to him and tries to calm him. She was gradually coming closer to Nick while doing this, and Nick doesn't like this at all. He leaves in his car, and when he returns home, he doesn't find Maggie in any of their family photo. Seeing this, he yells at Alice, and she replies, "I removed her from the photos because every time railing. She sees that Isla wasn't weeping but playing with Alice. Seeing her fell, Alice lifts her up and drops her in the room. Nick returns home late at night and sees Alice telling Isla a story in her mom's voice. He feels good to see this and comes to them. Alice then tells him that Maggie fell from stairs today. Hearing this, he rushes to Maggie and seeing him worried, Maggie says, "I am fine. Alice dropped me." Alice shoots that robot without wasting any time, and then shoots that man. The next morning, we see that Nick comes to his boss to request for his friend, that he has made a mistake, but it would be better to forgive him than to make him arrest. He gets a shocking news from his boss that his friend was murdered last night. Hearing this, he understands that this is done by Alice. We see at home that Alice comes to Maggie's washroom as she was jealous of Maggie, because she has feelings for Nick. She irritates Maggie and says, "I have got your husband, Nick. I can make him happy more than you." Maggie starts shouting at her in anger. Alice replies, "Don't shout. You can ask Nick if you want to." Maggie now starts waiting for Nick in anger, and as he reaches home, she asks him the truth. She asks what has happened between him and Alice. Here, Nick could have lied, but he didn't, and tells the truth. Maggie has to come in anger after listening the truth. During this, Alice sees them from behind and then goes to their room. There was Nick's younger son. She takes his son near the bathtub. She starts filling water in it. Isla has seen Alice doing this, and she immediately tells her parents that Alice is drowning their son in water. Nick and Maggie immediately come near the bathroom to save him, but they find the door locked. Seeing this, Nick doesn't waste time and starts breaking it. When it was taking time, Maggie reaches her washroom from the roof through the window. Seeing Maggie here, Alice attacks her in anger. She lifts her up while holding her neck. Before Maggie could die, Nick breaks the door, comes inside, and saves Maggie while hitting Alice with a lamp. Alice becomes furious seeing Nick doing this. The lamp with which Nick attacked Alice, Maggie cleverly turns its switch on. Due to this, Alice gets electric shocks and her programming fails. She was destroyed. In human language, it died. It is shown in the next scene that Alice's company comes and takes her away. Maggie was also furious at Nick, so she also leaves with the police. The scene cuts. It is shown when the company was repairing Alice. There was a movement in her hand. Her movement was so dangerous that it caused all the systems there to start malfunctioning. Alice has hacked all the systems here. Then she hacks a robot's programming and orders it to kill the scientist. The robot kills the scientist. After it, the robot starts killing the company employees on Alice's command. Nick is shown worried sitting in the bar. Meanwhile, Alice comes to him. She comes here to confess her love, but Nick was feeling bad for all this. He was about to leave, but then Alice holds his hand so tightly that he feels pain. Nick realizes that he can't leave now. He has to manipulate Alice. He starts speaking to Alice sweetly, then deceives her by pulling out the wires on her face before escaping. Alice gets faint because of pulling out the wires. The scene cuts and we are shown Maggie in the hospital as her son was in the hospital. Now Alice comes to the hospital where she was. Alice hacks the hospital's computer and looking for Maggie's son's room. When the nurse forbids her to do so, she strangles her neck and kills her. She finds Maggie's room, but by the time she reaches it, Maggie has already left with her son. It is now shown that Nick is repeatedly calling Maggie, but Maggie's phone was left on the hospital's bench.